Have you ever looked at someone in their 70s or even 80s and thought, wow, how do they have so much energy? Maybe it's a neighbor still tending to their garden every morning, or a friend who walks into the room with a big smile and stories to tell. They seem light on their feet, sharp in conversation, and genuinely happy, almost like they've found a secret to aging well that nobody told the rest of us. If that's ever crossed your mind, you're not alone. A lot of us hit a certain age and start to wonder if it's all downhill from here. Maybe you've noticed your memory getting a little foggier, or your body doesn't bounce back like it used to. Climbing stairs? Not quite as easy. Waking up refreshed? Feels like a distant memory. And yet, there are those folks who seem to be thriving. So, what are they doing differently? That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to walk through 6 simple but powerful things that people over 70 are doing differently. Not because they're superhuman, but because they've learned what really matters when it comes to longevity and living well. These aren't fancy tricks or expensive treatments. They're practical habits and mindset shifts that you can start applying right now, no matter where you are in your journey. Let's start with one of the most surprising things many long-living seniors do differently. They stay curious. It might sound too simple at first, but think about it. Curiosity keeps the brain active. It sparks learning. And the moment we stop learning or exploring new ideas, we start shrinking inside. People over 70 who are thriving tend to keep their minds open. They try new things. Whether it's reading about a subject they've never explored before, learning to use new technology, picking up a musical instrument, or even just asking deeper questions in conversations, they're not afraid to be beginners. Now, curiosity doesn't mean you have to go sign up for a college course or download the latest app and figure it all out on your own. It can be as simple as wondering about the birds in your backyard and picking up a book on local wildlife. Or maybe you're at a family dinner and instead of talking about the weather, you ask your grandkids what music they're into these days. Curiosity keeps you connected, not just to the world around you, but to yourself. It sends a signal to your brain, I'm still growing. And a brain that's growing is one that stays sharper for longer. Closely tied to curiosity is the second thing people over 70 often do differently. They stay socially engaged. Not just casually chatting with neighbors or exchanging polite smiles, but meaningfully connected. They invest time in relationships that energize them. They share stories, offer advice, and most importantly, they listen. Because being heard and being needed is powerful at any age. You might be thinking, but I'm not as social as I used to be, or most of my friends have moved away or passed on. That's a reality many face, and it can feel isolating. But the secret isn't having a huge social circle. It's about having real connections. That could be one good friend you talk to on the phone regularly, a neighbor you check in on, or a local community group where you feel seen. Some of the most joyful older adults are the ones who take the initiative to reach out. Whether it's writing a birthday card, sending a quick message, or simply asking someone how they're really doing. These little efforts create a sense of purpose. And purpose is something that lights a fire inside, no matter how old you are. It's worth noting that meaningful social connection isn't just about talking, it's about sharing experiences. Whether it's volunteering, attending a book club, joining a walking group, or going to church, shared activities give structure and joy to your days. And they give you something to look forward to, which is half the battle when you're trying to stay motivated and energized later in life. You know, one woman I spoke to recently, she's 78 and still teaching watercolor classes at her local community center, told me something that really stuck. She said, I don't think of myself as old. I think of myself as just beginning a different kind of life. And the best part is, I get to choose how colorful it is. Isn't that beautiful? That mindset alone, seeing this phase of life not as the end, but as a new beginning, is something you'll find again and again in people who age well. Another powerful trait? They're not afraid to let go. That might sound odd, but hear me out. The people who seem happiest in their 70s and beyond are the ones who've learned not to carry unnecessary baggage. Whether it's regrets from the past, old grudges, or outdated expectations about what life should look like, they've found peace in releasing what they can't control. And this kind of letting go isn't a one-time thing. It's a habit. It's waking up in the morning and choosing not to dwell on the ache in your knee, or that one argument from 10 years ago. It's being kind to yourself. It's forgiving more easily. It's choosing peace over perfection. And believe it or not, that emotional weight we carry. It can age us just as much, if not more, than physical habits. Stress, bitterness, worry. These things chip away at our health. But when you talk to someone in their 70s or 80s who's thriving, they've often learned to travel lighter. They focus on what's still good in their lives, the people who love them, the moments of beauty in an ordinary day, the hobbies that bring them joy. They understand that every day is a gift, and they try to treat it that way, even if it's not always easy. So if you're feeling weighed down lately, maybe this is a little invitation to ask yourself, what am I holding on to that I don't need anymore? It might be a grudge, or guilt, or even just an old story you keep telling yourself that says, it's too late for me. Spoiler alert, it's not too late. Not even close. Now that we've touched on the power of curiosity, the importance of meaningful connections, and the strength in letting go, let's keep the momentum going. Because there's still more to explore. More insights from people over 70 who are living proof that aging well is absolutely possible, and that the best may still be yet to come. There's something powerful about realizing that aging doesn't have to mean slowing down. It can actually mean waking up to what matters most. And once you start paying attention to the little things people over 70 do differently, it becomes clear that longevity isn't about luck. It's about intention, thoughtful choices, and daily habits that build up, quietly shaping a life that feels fuller, healthier, and more joyful. Let's keep going with another key thing that stands out in folks who age well. They move their bodies with purpose. Not for vanity, not to burn calories, but because they understand that movement is medicine. And here's the thing, they don't necessarily run marathons or lift heavy weights. In fact, many of them are careful not to overdo it. What they focus on instead is gentle, consistent movement that supports their joints, keeps their muscles strong, and brings them a sense of balance, both physically and emotionally. This could mean a morning stretch routine that wakes up the spine and loosens up stiff hips. Or a peaceful walk around the neighborhood, not speed walking, but being present with each step. Gardening, dancing in the living room, tai chi, light yoga. These kinds of movements are low impact but high reward. They keep circulation flowing, reduce inflammation, and help maintain independence for years to come. There's a gentleman I met recently. He's 84 and still goes down to the local pier every morning. Not to fish or even to socialize, but just to walk. He told me, as long as I can keep walking, I know I'm still moving forward. And that really says it all. It's not about how fast or how far, it's the act of moving that sends a message to your body. I'm still here. I'm still active. I still care. And what's interesting is that many of these folks also listen to their bodies more than ever before. If something aches, they rest. If they feel tension, they stretch. If they feel tired, they don't push, they pause. This kind of self-awareness, this gentle respect for the body, is something that often only comes with age. And it's something younger generations could really learn from. Now, while movement plays a big role in aging well, there's another piece of the puzzle that often flies under the radar. Asterisk the way we eat star. And no, I'm not about to suggest some trendy diet or ask you to count calories. That's not what people over 70 who are thriving tend to focus on. Instead, they tend to develop a relationship with food that's based on nourishment, not restriction. They eat foods that give them energy, help them feel clear-headed, and support digestion. They're often more in tune with how different foods affect their mood and sleep. It's not about rules, it's about rhythms. Eating more fiber-rich fruits and veggies, drinking enough water, enjoying a warm cup of tea in the afternoon, maybe having a little dark chocolate at night. These simple, comforting rituals often replace chaotic eating patterns from earlier in life. And let's not forget how food connects to memory. Many older adults take great joy in cooking meals that remind them of their past. Family recipes, dishes from their culture, or simple meals that bring a sense of calm. There's something about preparing and sharing food that feels grounding. It's a form of self-care, and it's a daily opportunity to show your body that it's worth taking care of. One woman I spoke with, she's 76 and lives alone now, told me she still sets the table every night, even if it's just for herself. She lights a candle, puts on music, and makes dinner an event. "Why wait for company?" she said with a grin. "I'm worth the effort." That kind of mindset, treating yourself with kindness and care, goes hand in hand with longevity. And while we're on the topic of mindset, That brings us to another habit that truly sets vibrant, long-living seniors apart. They keep a sense of humor. They laugh. They tell stories. They find the funny side of things, even when life throws them curveballs. It's not that they've had it easy. In fact, many have lived through loss, illness, hardship, but they've learned that laughter is a kind of resilience. It's a way of softening the edges of hard days. Think about it. When was the last time you had a really good laugh? One of those deep belly laughs that makes your eyes water? For many people, as we get older, those moments become fewer and farther between. But the folks who seem to glow with life even in their 70s and 80s? They seek those moments out. They watch old comedies, share silly stories with friends, even laugh at themselves when they forget where they put the car keys. And science backs it up. Laughter reduces stress hormones, improves immune function, and boosts endorphins, those feel-good chemicals we all need more of. So don't be afraid to be a little silly, even now. Especially now. There's also something incredibly heartening about the way many older adults embrace simplicity. They aren't chasing after the latest gadgets or filling their calendars just to feel busy. Instead, they focus on what feels meaningful. A slow morning with coffee on the porch. A handwritten letter. Time spent with loved ones. These simple pleasures become the highlight of their days, not background noise. And in doing so, they reconnect with something we often lose in the hustle of life. *present star. Being here in this moment, without needing it to be more exciting or impressive. That kind of peaceful contentment, it's powerful. It's healing. And it's something anyone can learn to cultivate, no matter their age. When you take a step back and look at all these habits, movement, mindful eating, laughter, connection, curiosity, it becomes clear that longevity isn't about chasing youth. It's about embracing where you are and making the most of it, one day at a time. There's a quiet wisdom that grows with age, and those who age well are the ones who lean into that wisdom. They don't waste energy wishing they were younger. Instead, they find freedom in not needing to prove anything anymore. They've let go of perfection. They've stopped apologizing for who they are. And in that space, something beautiful opens up, a chance to live more fully, more authentically, and more joyfully than ever before. You know, one of the most inspiring things about talking to people in their 70s and beyond is how often they say this stage of life feels like a return to themselves. It's not about slowing down, it's about showing up differently, more intentionally, with more freedom, more clarity, and yes, even more joy. And that brings us to the final key thing many long-living, thriving seniors do differently. They nurture their mindset every single day. That might not sound as tangible as taking a walk or eating more vegetables, but make no mistake, your mindset is the foundation everything else rests on. And the people who seem to glow with vitality well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond, they've trained their minds to look for the good. That doesn't mean they ignore the hard stuff. Life still has its challenges. They still experience loss, illness, or disappointment. But they've built an inner resilience. They choose gratitude over grumbling. They focus on what they can do, not just what they've lost. They look for things to be thankful for, even in small moments. A warm blanket, a call from a friend, the way sunlight comes through the curtains. One man I met, he's 91 now, told me something I'll never forget. He said, "When I wake up, I don't ask myself how I'm feeling. I ask myself what I'm looking forward to today. Even if it's something simple." That question changes everything. And it does. Because where your mind goes, your energy follows. Gratitude, hope, optimism, these aren't just nice feelings. They're tools. They actually change your brain chemistry. They reduce stress. They improve sleep. They help your body heal. And the amazing part is, we can all practice them, no matter our age, our past, or our current circumstances. Now, maybe you've had days recently that felt heavy. Maybe you're carrying a lot, emotionally, physically, even spiritually. Maybe you've caught yourself thinking, it's too late for me to change. But here's the truth, it's never too late to make a shift. Even a small one. Sometimes that shift starts with something as simple as taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply and be still. Or writing down one thing you're grateful for before bed. Or calling someone you care about just to say hello. These small acts might not seem like much in the moment, but over time, they create a sense of peace, a sense of purpose. And that's what we're all really after, isn't it? You see, what truly sets long-living, thriving people apart isn't just what they do. It's how they feel about what they do. It's how they approach each day. They don't let the number on their birthday cake define what they're capable of. They don't let fear hold them back from trying new things. And they don't believe the lie that aging means fading. Instead, they see aging as an opportunity to live with more depth, more wisdom, and more heart. And really, that's what this whole checklist has been about. Not just habits, but a mindset. A way of living. One rooted in curiosity, connection, movement, nourishment, laughter, and presence. These aren't complicated ideas, but they're powerful. And more importantly, they're possible for you. You don't need a perfect routine. You don't need to do all 6 things every day. You just need to start. Pick one thing that spoke to you. Maybe it's calling a friend you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe it's taking a short walk this evening. Or maybe it's just deciding to forgive yourself for being too hard on your body or your past. That one act of kindness toward yourself can shift everything. There's a quiet strength in people who live long and well. It's not flashy. It's not loud. But it's deep. And it comes from knowing that life is made up of small, meaningful moments. A smile. A walk. A memory. A laugh. And each one of those moments matters. So if no one has told you this lately, let me say it clearly. You're not too old. You're not too late. You haven't missed your chance. Your story is still being written. And you have more power than you think to shape how it unfolds from here. And here's something else worth remembering. Your presence in this world still makes a difference. Whether it's in the lives of your children or grandchildren, your neighbors, your friends, or even the stranger you smiled at today. Your kindness, your experience, your being here matters. So keep showing up. Keep moving forward. Keep believing that there is beauty in this stage of life. Because there is. So much of it. If this message resonated with you today, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe share one thing you're doing right now to support your health and happiness. Or one new habit you're curious about trying. Drop it in the comments below. We're all learning from each other, and your wisdom might be just what someone else needs to hear. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like so others can find it too. And don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting, practical content to help you live your best life at every age. Remember, it's not about staying young. It's about staying you. Fully, joyfully, and without apology. Here's to living your best life, one beautiful, intentional day at a time.